So today we are on. Do I have to mention the date? No, right?
No date.
Okay,
What the
cool,
fuck?
cool. Today's podcast, specifically done by both Jason and Gagan. It's called the podcast is called the Post Chai Podcast. Welcome, everyone. Well,
Yeah, that was a wonderful
no, I
welcome.
just I just turned around. I just turned around, and my sister just woke up and her face just crunched up. And she was like, "What the fuck?"
That was the most cringe welcome I have
Would
ever
you
heard in my
would you
life.
please take the
It's
honors
like
then? Do the
it's
honors.
like no. It was good. It was good. But it was like, hey guys, welcome. Listen to me and my other friend talk about books and shit.
That is yes, that's why we are here.
That's my way.
Uh,
Yeah, so we're here talking about the Gentleman Bastard series written by Scott Lynch.
Absolutely.
Currently, there are three books: The Lies of Locke, Lamora, Red Seas Under Red Skies, and The Republic of Thieves, if I'm not mistaken. The
Absolutely.
fourth book, I think it's called The Thorn of Emberlane, is set to release August 2022. Yeah,
That's the one with the picture of them both in armor, right?
yeah,
If
I
I'm
think
not
that's the one
incorrect.
with the picture of both in the armor. Yeah,
That
yeah,
does
yeah,
look
yeah.
very enticing to go through as well. And
I think that's the cover from Golan's publication. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah,
yes,
you're right.
yes, and it looks absolutely amazing, especially from how far we've gotten through here itself. Have you started on the third book yet?
I'm nearly done with it actually. Like
Holy shit!
I've been reading non-stop, and I'm somewhere in like the 400th page or something, and like I
Nice.
think I have like 100, 150 more to go.
Guess what page I am in? I mean,
What? Like okay, guess. So you're in 500.
450, bro.
Close, 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 close,
Very
close,
close.
close,
Let's
close, close,
go.
close, close. So
It's amazing, right? Uh,
it is. It's really good. It's really good.
and I love of course at the beginning. Let's talk about the Red Seas under the Red Skies for now. I just like to mention one thing. I was a bit iffy at the beginning with the book,
Uh
right?
huh.
Because when I was looking for the PDF of the book while I was waiting for you to give me the book, right?
Right.
Get the book from you. I was basically I read a review where people were kind of not they were kind of this way and that. They weren't like some people really liked it
Yeah.
and some people didn't, right?
Yeah, I read those reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I don't know, but halfway through, I am hooked, and that's not a
I
pun.
know. Yeah, it's not a pun. They use a lot of hooks in this.
It's so good, and it's gotten like quite like intense. I love the connection with the pirates. I love the spoilers that we're going to talk about. Although
Yeah, by the way, if you guys
spoiler,
didn't notice by now, the entire podcast will be spoilers. So,
yes. So if you haven't read the book, please
so
jump
don't.
out, read the book, and then listen. Please,
Yeah.
yeah. So I have to say, spoiler talk right now. I have to say the pirates and the way that they start growing, like they just start connecting with this new family because they're somewhat similar, a lot of ways similar. Uh,
Similar.
yeah, because pirates also steal, right? But they don't
Right, right,
steal to
right.
the
Okay,
point
okay,
of
okay.
like too much to the point where they kill people and stuff. They just steal enough and then they let you go. Just like I don't know the line specifically. I like to find it,
Hmm.
but that yeah, thieves prosper, the rich remember. Right?
Yes, thieves prosper, the rich remember.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. The way that John sees that is nice. The way he lets him know, and Locke, by the way, the with him going onto that ship, Jason, and just
Mm-hmm.
with that bravery that he runs through, and
Mm-hmm.
the stupidity against the monks
Yeah,
was.
yeah, 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 yeah,
What
yeah.
did you feel about that moment? How was that for you?
I mean, firstly, to address your first point about like
Mm-hmm.
uh, John or Gene, I don't know how we pronounce his
I
name, but
think
I'm gonna say
it's John.
let's go with Gene. I think it's
Oh.
Gene. I'm gonna go with Gene.
I like Jean, but because you told me that it was John, so I switched to it. But yeah, let's go with Jean. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay, fine. So Gene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Gene's all like, oh, you know what? We're the same because we're both pirates and we both like should help each other and stuff.
Uh-huh.
At this point, I think not just me, but everyone who read the book probably had this little inkling that, okay, Gene, we all know you want that pirate pussy. Like, we all know that's what you want. At this point, we're not even like questioning his intention, because Gene is always the more, like, okay, we shouldn't trust anybody,
True.
and we should be on our feet, and we should constantly be vigilant and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
He's the one
But
pulling
then
up
suddenly
the
he's
pants the whole book in the beginning half, right? He's the one like who's
right.
like slapping Locke in the face and like, yo, you need to pick your fucking breeches up. You're getting drunk and
Exactly.
shit.
Not
Right?
even
Yeah.
this book. Even in the first book, The Lies of Locke Lamora, we always see that Locke is the one who just does stupid shit without thinking.
Very true.
But like, Gene is always the guy who's like, he's very he thinks twice before doing something, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's more cautious than Locke, which makes him a slightly more boring character than Locke, but which also more prudent than Locke.
Yeah, he's a sober. He's a sober guy. He
Yes,
needs to
he's
be
a
that
sober
guy, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. He's not the guy who's getting drunk and wallowing in a
Self-pity.
endless pool of self-pity, right? That's Locke. So when you look at Gene and he's all like, you know what, we should definitely help them out, because why not? I mean, these guys like literally picked you out of the sea and they're threatening to kill you, and you're like, no, we should be on their side. Like, I know Ezri is hot, and I get that.
So
I understand the attraction to like short, muscular pirate chicks.
No,
I'm a
but
man too.
I'm sorry, I have to
Like a
jump in.
beating heart.
I have to jump
Yeah.
in here. That part where that beginning part, okay, where I realized that something was gonna happen between them. You know, when she walks in and they say something, and Gene says some line from a book that he's read, right?
Yeah.
And she says the line right after, and I
Yeah.
was like, wait, what? And then the next part, it keeps going. They're just like saying lines, and then the captain has to be like, shut the, what the fuck are you guys doing? I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is definitely going to happen, and it's amazing.
I swear, at that moment, I was just like, wait, am I watching like Dead Poet Society, but the pirate version where everyone hooks up each other? What's happening at this point? So, which I felt was like a big pullback from the book, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of quoting of different, like throughout the book, you see that Gene quotes a lot of random quotes.
Yeah.
Ezri quotes a lot of random quotes. Then you find later on that I don't know if you've met the big pirate guy, one of the other pirate kings or something.
Oh,
Just
not
like
yet, not yet. We're going right now. I have stopped at going through that area where basically Drakasha gives her daughter the poppy, and they're right about like they're going through the mist right now to get to the
right. So
Ghostlands.
perfect. So once you cross the mist, you reach the whatever that island is called,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You reach that whatever that island is called, and you meet the other pirate captains or something, right? And then
Prodigal,
you find
right?
yeah,
Port
Cape
Prodigal. Yeah. That's the one.
Port Prodigal, yeah.
Yes.
So Port Prodigal, you find like these guys there, and they also start quoting shit, and you're all like, "Hi, are we ever gonna read these, these scriptures or these myths that you're
Yeah.
talking about?" Because you just can't randomly quoting it and be like, "Oh, we have to be like ooh about it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
So I think there are many reasons in this for this book to be like slightly more boring than the first installment in the series, and compared to the third installment, it's definitely not the best. Red Seas and the Red Skies. Because
although
I think
I
yeah.
have
So
to
go ahead.
disagree. I have to disagree mainly because I have to say like he needed to come off. I think with like a proper way to move forward from the first book of the loss that they went through and all the things that they went through, right? And
Right.
I don't think if you think about it, I don't think you can just start off gung ho and like let's do this on a new job after you've lost 3 people in your group and after you've like gone through almost death, fought a bonds magi, right, and gotten out by cutting off his fingers and his tongue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was
I
beautiful.
feel like the he needed to like slow down the pace a little for us to like kind of understand that Locke has to go through these things because he's human, right? Like all of us, and he has to go through that pain of like losing because we didn't get to go through that pain in the first book. They just went past it and they just like were on one thing, and that was only revenge. We need revenge. That's it, vengeance. Yes. So the fact that we didn't get that in the beginning because they were so pent up on revenge and they needed to get it, and after that it kind of comes down on them. It's like it lands and it's on not on John specific or Gene specifically. Like he kind of understands, and he's like the calm, oriented one. But Locke does get hit pretty hard, and he's completely alcoholic and everything. So it does. I think it makes like perfect sense for it to go that way, and I don't feel bad for it. I like it. Um, Although I do agree on the point that it is kind of iffy due to the fact that they're again stuck between two individuals who are like pulling them this way and that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the in the first book, Kappa Barsavi and the Grey King were pulling them on both sides in the first book, like in the
Right.
beginning part of the book. But in the Red Seas now it's like Stragos and Requiem, except that he is trying to fool Requiem into doing something bad. There is a certain change to it, yes, but I do feel like it's somewhat the same. What do you think?
See, I think we can both agree first and foremost that the first book was killer
Yes, yes, absolutely.
in modes. It was a really good book,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It had a good flow. You had like this random troop of thieves who were like they were probably the richest people in Kamor,
Yeah.
and they just went around screwing with people, getting money, getting rich, getting that bread,
Yeah.
and they were really good, and then they pushed it a little too far and they got screwed big time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it's like they tested their luck too much and they paid a huge price for it, right?
Yes.
Which shows that you test your luck a little too much, careless, you get careless, you just need to be wrong once and then you're screwed.
Yeah. You're
So that's what the book shows, and then it shows the amazing story of revenge and how Locke and Jean take revenge on everybody, whether it's the Berengia sisters or whether it's
the Bonds
Kappa, the Bonds Magi, and whether
Kaparadza
it's
as well. Yeah.
Kappa Raja as well. So they take revenge on everybody. They pay and then there's a whole thing with the spider and the
Oof.
Duke of Kamar. Yeah, so it's like it's a beautiful book, right?
Yeah.
And how they escape towards the end as well. That's also nice.
Very true. Mm-hmm.
Where Locke is barely alive at this point.
Yes.
Because you can't do all of these things and then escape without a scratch. Locke is no hero. He's no Superman. He is a small, weak little guy
Yeah.
who is just super cunning, super smart,
Yep.
and he's
Absolutely.
not physically strong. He's nothing. He's none of that, right? But then he's determined as hell to just get revenge and get the hell out. So that was the wonderful thing that I loved about the Lies of Locke Lamora.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is all being said.
Yeah.
We move on to the second book, right, where we speak about them going to Velverazzo, Locke, getting depressed and drinking himself into oblivion, and then Jean taking over, and Jean starts this new. he tries to start a new thing, and then they escape from there, and then they jump to Telverar, where they've stayed there for like I think a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true. Yes. About I think about 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. I think.
Yeah, so we've just had like a time skip of 2 years for no random reason, right? So so time skip 2 years later, and it's like they're again rich and prosperous in Talvarar, and it's a whole casino kind of scene.
Vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wish that although they did like mention the Sinspire a lot and stuff,
Mhm.
I wish it would have because I loved the first part of the book where they're gambling with those two ladies,
Yes.
and then the whole concept of how they're winning is amazing.
The powdering, right?
The powdering, yeah. So I
Yes.
wish there were like more like plot twists and like more schemes related to that, rather than jumping straight up to the piracy,
You do
And
have a
like,
point. Yes.
yeah, I mean, like I wish they would have stayed more there and given, because when you talk about the Gentleman Bastard series,
Mhm.
people often compare it to like Ocean's 11 and stuff, right? Where you have a lot of these casino schemes where they pull up grand schemes, and I wanted to see more of that from the Sinspire.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have like gotten close to this guy Requiem, and I don't know, maybe pulled off something else. They showed a lot about like the marketplace, the Bonds Magi,
Yeah.
Merain, for example, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that. We don't really know who Merain is even till the end, to a large extent. So
All right.
a lot of things were left unexplained, and then you suddenly like you go to Stragos, and then Maximilian Stragos is like this wonderfully like staunch character, and I like I sort of like if I have to like compare him to a character in my head, I compare him to Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, because
All
he's this
right.
big, huge chief kind of character who's like the military head and like very
Yeah.
powerful dude,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Archon, right?
I can see that.
So yeah. So it like plays in my head with that guy, and like, okay, you're introducing such a strong character. You have Requin. In my head, Requin is he's that guy, dude. What's his name? Spider-Man, Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. I don't know why, but Requin is Willem Dafoe in my head, right?
I see it. I
So
see. I like it.
I like it. It's amazing. And then you have this chick with like blade arms and shit.
Cylindri,
Like,
right?
yeah, and I'm like,
Yes.
you can do some crazy shit with these three people, and like, but then no, you know what? They
We
stop
don't know
it.
yet. I don't. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, they stop it midway,
Mm.
and then like they just suddenly they just completely like jump onto piracy.
Hmm.
They introduce us to this navy, I mean this sailing coach, some short white man,
Yeah.
and he's like he teaches them, and then they get onto the ship, and then he's dead, and
Kaldri,
then
right?
they, yeah, and then they lose their ship, and then they get picked up by this pirate chick, and then it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
And at this point, you're just like, I think they try to like put too much into one book. There are too many main characters for like one book.
I have to like kind of disagree though, mainly because like
And
so
no, let me finish on
yeah, yeah,
before.
sorry. Go on, go on.
I felt they dragged a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of information was given as to like sailing and like the parts of a ship and like how to sail and like how to do, how to
All
sail with
the
the proper
sayings and the
wind.
wordings as
So it
well,
was,
right?
yeah, it got too technical for me, which sort of started dragging a little bit.
Ah,
Like
the
after one
rituals and
point,
everything. Hmm.
yeah, no, the rituals were fine. The rituals were cool.
Mm-hmm.
The this thing, the
Larboard and the starboard.
yeah, the technicalities of
Technicalities.
learning how to sail a ship itself was kind of like annoying to me, because I was like, I wanted a sort of, you know scheming kind of, I will steal your money kind of book, right?
Yeah.
Not a okay, let's sit here and talk about how to handle a ship kind of book. I think this is a part where Scott Lynch really sort of derailed from the original sort of theme of the book, where he started, I think in the main part of Red Seas and Red Skies, he got a little too technical around a lot of things he didn't need to get technical around.
I see. I see. Okay.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you time skipped like a major part where I didn't learn how Locke and Jean came up in Telverar, but then you expand technicalities when it comes to sailing. It didn't make sense to me.
That is a point. Yes, I do agree with the whole 2 year gap thing. I would have liked to known how they got all those riches again, like what they went about doing as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do have to say that from my experience, I feel like if you have a heist in one book, right,
Yeah.
and then the next book immediately if you have another heist, it might. I know it's Ocean's 11 and everything. It's like Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, but there has to. I think he wanted to, from his perspective, I think he wanted to like change it up a little and give us some expectations, but also be like, hey, our characters that you are invested in aren't really like properly invested in themselves or like set up themselves after what has happened to them after the first book, after all the things that they've done. And we need like, I think he wanted to like get like a redemption or like have them learn something, like I think he wanted Locke to like go through all these emotions and understand that it's not only him and John left out anymore. There are more people like them, and they should still, because we all know Locke has a heart, right? Even when that time when they had to throw the Kaldri and the other guy off the ship, and
Right.
Jean turns to him and he goes like, hey, give them the praying rights or whatever, and the captain is the one who can get people married, but he also is the one who like speaks to them during the funeral and tells the like what's the Iono Stormbringer, right? That's the god.
Yeah.
He prays to them and shit, and at that point, like, because he doesn't know the thing, and he's also like, you know what, I want to give this guy a proper burial because he has helped us out so much and he cared so much that he actually goes off and out of character, and he's just like, the crooked warden, please fucking help your brother's, disciple or whatever. And I was like, now, even though he was going to get screwed by the whole crew, and it was coming, I know, but even though he was going to get screwed by the whole crew, he still did that because he has a good heart, and that I think that needed to be set up. I feel like for I don't know what's coming in the third book. Honestly, I don't know how this book is going to end because I'm at 450, and right now they're going through the the ghostlands. Is that what it's called?
They're going through the mist, right?
The
Where
mist,
they can
yes.
do some shit.
And I don't know how it's all going to end. It feels like there's only 150 pages left, and I don't feel like there's a lot for it to close down on. And from what you mentioned, I think I'm not going to get a lot from Requiem. So I'll finish the book and I'll give a final, review on it properly. But from where I have stopped right now, right, I like it. I'm afraid though. I'm afraid that
Yeah, exactly.
I won't
I'm
get
not-
enough
I'm
from
not saying-
Requiem.
Requiem.
You don't have to ruin anything. But
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. I would not dare do that. But I will tell you how I felt about the book, right?
Yeah.
So I did feel like the initial part of the book was a little draggy,
True.
but then I really liked the character of the female captain. I'm at a loss for her name right now.
Drakasha.
Drakasha, yes. Drakasha was, I really enjoyed her character. For me, Drakasha is Angela Bassett in my head. So she's like very.
Angela Bassett, is it?
Angela Bassett, yeah. So I really enjoyed just thinking about
Yeah, I see it.
You see it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
she's
do.
damn cool. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah. So I really did. I enjoyed the entire part of her trying to be a good captain and her being a mom.
Mother, yes.
And her just handling a lot of shit and stuff, and it gets better after they go to Cape Prodigal, so I'm not going to ruin it for you.
All right, that's good.
So from here the book just gets really good.
Okay.
Okay, it gets really good, and it just delves into it just gets really good towards the end.
All right.
Do you remember the part where Locke went to
Yeah, the chair thing, right? Is that what
the
you're
chair
going to?
thing?
Yeah.
The chair arc was I thought
That was
probably
beautiful.
the best arc in the book because
Imagining
it returns.
him like
it
getting
turns-
pissed off.
Yeah, it returns and it just becomes really, really nice.
It does. Okay.
So the book, on the whole, I would say is a great character development sort of book for Locke
Yeah.
in particular.
Yeah.
And not to mention Jean.
Jean.
I would say it's more like a 70% Jean book and 60 to 50% Locke book.
Because we are getting viewpoints from his side as well. I started getting
Yeah.
that later in the book. Yes.
Yeah, because Jean in the beginning is caretaker of Locke. He starts his own gang. He helps Locke with the schemes and whatnot.
That is
He
true.
goes to find this thing. If you remember, he goes and visits the locksmith lady who throws him off from. Yeah.
And he lands in front of that dude who is giving out beer.
Yeah, he starts giving out random beer to people who fall from that place. And then Jean is also he fights off people.
Yeah.
And he gets tortured by the Bonds Magi because they know his name but they don't know Locke's
Last
name.
name.
So Jean goes through a lot, and then his relationship with Ezri becomes really important later on.
Yes.
And
I'm waiting for that. Yes, it's getting good.
yeah,
I
and
couldn't
when
help
they
but giggle every time they go. They
Yeah,
go through
it gets
any
really good.
interaction. It's so nice. It's so that's what you want, right? And it's like they respect each other at the utmost, and they care about whatever they speak. They're always on the same tangent every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to go through their conversations again because I kind of don't understand sometimes because I'm just what do they say? And then I'm okay, that's what they're saying. But they're so quick witty with each other, and they're on
Yes.
point. It's wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then and then there's a relate. Then when we talk about Locke, right? His character development is on a different level, but I would say lesser than Jean in this book because Locke in this book, first of all, he goes through some weird depression shit in the beginning, reasonable of course, and then secondly, he's he's the leader of the scheme, if I can say,
As
when
always.
it comes to Telvera to like scam the people. He's making the plans.
Yes.
He's like, okay, how do I screw Requin? How do I screw Stragos? And how do I get it in with the Drakasha? Like how does she trust me and stuff?
Absolutely.
And then he has a scheme later, and then this is the first time after uh, Kappa Raza that we see Locke get into a warlike mode where he goes like ham against everyone on the ship where he starts fighting, right?
Yeah.
So you have character development for Locke as well, but I did prefer Jean more in this book because Jean is just so much more prominent as a figure as he comes out and just has. You can really see that he has Locke's back.
He's a
throughout the
pillar.
book.
He's like a pillar that's like always there, that's standing, right?
Yeah, Locke
Locke
is
can lean on.
Locke is the brains definitely, but Jean is definitely the body and the heart
Yeah.
of the series. Because if Jean crumbles, I mean Locke is literally like not going to do anything. Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about the second book. Obviously, we can't talk any more about it, much more, I guess.
Yeah, because you
mainly
haven't finished it. Because
So let's go back for now to the first book, and let's just reminisce through the good parts, I would say. And
the lies of Locke Lamora.
The
Okay,
lies
cool.
of Locke Lamora, exactly. So where do we start? Where would you like to start?
I would say we could start with the flashbacks. And what did you like about that?
Oh, the flashbacks were a treat. I missed the flashbacks in the second book. I honestly, maybe I know it's asking too much in the second book to ask for like John and Locke's like flashbacks, because the flashbacks at the beginning in the first book for me were kind of like jarring, because I'd be going through something and it would be like awesome what they were doing, and then suddenly it'd be like, oh, flashback, and I'll be like, oh shit, I have to get into this. But the flashbacks turned out to be wonderful after like the first 150 pages or 200 pages. It started getting really good, and I started learning like it was nice, and I love the crooked warden idea. I would love to know what Shane's did and what he went through in the past, and what kind of like shenanigans he went through when he was younger, right? And I hope Scott Lynch does go into that in his later books, hopefully. Yeah.
Chains was and is more a soldier than anything else. He was like, he's not much of a trickster or like Locke or the rest of the gang. He's more like, he was a soldier. Remember his three friends?
A farmer, a soldier, and a warrior, right?
And a warrior, right? So like these three, all of these three people were soldiers in the army, and then they all like retired, and one of them became like this. A garista or a priest, and the other one became a farmer, and the other one became a warlord, right, who teaches and stuff. So I don't think we're going to get more on Chains from that aspect, but what I would like to concentrate on is the style of writing. Like many people stated that they didn't like the random jarring flashbacks here and there. Right?
Oh, a lot of people. Not just
a lot of people said that. I mean, not me, but a lot of other people said it. Which I thought Scott Lynch was trying something new.
No,
he was trying
good.
He was like, you know what?
It was good.
He was like, we'll put a flashback in and we'll come to the current story. We'll put another flashback in, and it must be a very dynamic flow for the reader is probably what he was thinking.
Yeah.
But I don't think it worked in his favor too for a lot of people, because people I don't think aren't that dynamic when it comes to thought processes. I think people want more of a flow.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, people want more of a flow, like from past to present. They want a flow. Sure. Which he tried in the second book, right? And the second book, like we all spoke about, was okay but not that great, because we didn't have any sort of like reminiscence in the second book at all, because it was completely a character development book taken away from the plot.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any reference to Kamor. We didn't have any reference to the Gentleman Bastards. Nothing, right? It was off the plot. It was just like, let's say, like a buffer kind of book.
Yeah. Actually.
So if I could reference the third book for a bit, the third book, The Republic of Thieves, is very traditional from the point of flashbacks, where we have it does go from flashback to present, from flashback to present, like the first book, but the difference being that it's a whole chapter of a flashback. It's not like 1-2 pages of flashback, then 1-2 pages of the present, like how it was in the first book. It's more like an entire chapter dedicated to the flashback, which goes in a flow,
So he's gotten more fluid with writing this way, I guess.
Yeah, basically he's combined both the styles and made like a different thing where an entire chapter is the flashback, and the second chapter would be the present. The third chapter, incomplete, would be the flashback. So he's going chapter by chapter, and he's fixing his mistakes,
I see. Okay.
which turned out to be like wonderful. The flow in the third book is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I must tell you, and you can read that once you're done. If the lockdown ever lifts, and I can come and give it to you. But yeah, you can check it out. So that's the style, right?
Yeah.
And we look at the story. I really did enjoy the initial parts at Shades Hill, is it?
Shades Hill. Yes, that's when he was a thief. Yes, a plane.
That's when he was a kid, right? And he basically destroyed half of the Narrows or something.
That was the narration for that was absolutely well. Like that was amazing, dude. That narration was how they explain. Like he gave us so much time to like get
Right.
suspenseful for it, you know. And then finally he dropped it on us, like what happened, and Chains explains like this is what you did, and this is how many people you fucking got killed, like you know.
Right, exactly.
It was the pressure was insane, and like it was good because it's like he's a kid and he doesn't understand anything, and he's just doing it because he wants to get this other kid fucking fucked, right? Just like a
Yeah.
tiny bit, just like a slap on the wrist kind of thing. But
Yeah,
he
but
ended
then
up
they
killing a
died.
bunch of people. A bunch of people got killed. and yeah, so that was awesome. Also, I have to say the Naruto moment, it's not like specifically a Naruto moment in the first book,
Okay.
but that scene where, like, I've spoken to you about this before, where he's holding down that kid who's been like, you know, getting him alone every time. They're having that clan war shit, right, between all the other kids.
Right.
And
That was a
he
good one.
Gene's like, how are you gonna beat him? And he's like, I got a plan. You wait over there, and he won't know you're there. and I hold him there. You come, and the intensity, at the middle of that, I just had to stop and be like, oh fuck, Gene's coming. It was so good, and at the end as well, they pull that, and yeah, that was a wonderful moment to bring that again. It was really cool. Of course, Gene wasn't coming the second time, but still, what did you think about that?
I mean, yeah, the pasts were like really well done. And especially the part where, I think this was the first chapter where you have the thief maker.
Yes.
The thief maker, I don't know like who they can get to play the thief master, because when I think thief master, I think,
Some
you
whitey
know,
dude.
yeah, I think Jim Carrey from.
Wow, that's a bit.
Hear me out. I think of Jim Carrey from A Series of Unfortunate
Yeah,
Events.
I know. I got that immediately when you
That
said it.
he would be perfect for this role. A big, tall, spindly motherfucker who's
Yeah.
just like, creepy with like weird locks of hair all around
And he
and
doesn't
wearing
want to
weird
deal with
shit.
this kid, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, but then you still see the heart in the thief maker where he brings him to chains and he's all like, you know what? You either take the kid, or the next option I have is to slit his throat and throw him in the river. And I want to do that, but I like Locke and I don't want to do that at the same
So you
time.
want to take him, dude? Is what he comes up with. He's just like, yeah, you can have him if you want. I don't want to slit his throat. Yeah, like I did.
Yeah, and then so the whole thing is it's just so nice, and how he trains Locke, and it's not just he's not just a teacher or a priest, he's also a dad, an older brother, a friend, and he lets them learn, like for example,
drink.
yeah, when he gets him drunk the first time was hilarious.
Oh yeah. Go on. Sorry, I cut you off there.
There's so much he teaches them. Even in the third book, he's just like constantly like teaching them and telling them what to do and like what not to do, and like, hey, if you do that, you're gonna get screwed. So
Yeah.
you probably shouldn't. You realize that Locke is this really super smart guy, right? This schemer, this plotter, and he knows how to be a criminal, but he doesn't know how to be a regular person. And then like Chains is just like, dude, if you say that, you're gonna get punched. and then
So the situation is basically Gene comes into what is it? Chains takes in Gene. That's what happens, and Locke doesn't immediately like the kid, right? And yeah, like you said,
Yeah, I
Locke
mean,
talks his mouth a little
because
too much, and
Gene is basically this cute little chubby tall boy who's just lost his parents,
yeah,
and he's rich, he's aristocratic, he comes from
merchant
a
family,
trading
right?
family.
Mm-hmm.
He's this huge nerd who does mathematics for like time pass and stuff, and he's just like he's so sad and he's crying and he's lost his parents, and Locke's all like,
Dude, can you
yeah,
shut up?
nobody gives a shit, right?
We
Nobody
all
gives a
lost
shit.
shit.
We've all lost shit, and nobody cares about your parents and shit. And then this guy flies out of nowhere and smacks Locke, and just Locke nearly dies at this point, right?
And Change is just standing there like, well, you
And
asked for
Chase is
it.
like, finally, we have somebody who can throw a punch in this stupid house.
Oh god.
And that's when you know that this nerdy, fat, chubby kid is the strongest person in the entire series,
True. True.
right?
True. He holds
So
that weight. Like he actually has that. When he walks into a room, right?
yeah,
You know, like you better fucking like. He fought those women, those sisters, dude. That was insane. That fight.
dude, the Beranger sisters was a
Oh.
good fight.
Oh, that was a good one, dude. It was
I like
intense.
I like how he's just praying over somebody, and like
Yeah.
he's just there and he doesn't even know they're coming, and out of nowhere they're just there and they're like, oh, we're gonna fuck you up
Yeah.
and we know who you are, and then he's like, no, I don't think you know who I am. I'm just a
Oh.
regular priest praying for like people and shit, and then they're like, oh, but we're still gonna fuck you up, and like I just imagine these two really hot Latina women just coming in. They're all like, oh
With like
yeah, we're gonna like
scars all over them and shit,
with
right?
scarves
Yes.
and like thing, or like these Japanese like ninja sort of
Oh,
women, and just
okay,
like
okay.
I mean, I'm just giving you a vibe,
No,
right?
it would be
But
cool if they were from a different ethnicity. That'd be amazing, actually. But yeah,
it would be really cool. But then I don't think Kappa Raza sounds very Asian to me. It sounds very like
I mean,
Middle
that's not his
Eastern, I
actual
can say.
name, though, right? It sounds
No,
very
that's not his
Italian,
actual name.
actually. I thought the whole book was Italian oriented, wasn't
The
it?
whole series is Italian,
Yeah.
dude, because
Okay.
they're basing it
Kappa,
off
right?
Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're basing it off Italy. And the only references I've seen is you have Italian and you have I think black people.
Yeah. That's the captain from the second book, yes?
Yeah, that's Drakasha and other people as well.
Yes.
You have dark skinned people, and then you have like Italian people. I don't like they say that you have Throne Terran, you have Emberlane, you have Vadrin. I don't know what each one particularly is. I'm assuming Vadrin is English, and I'm
Possibly.
assuming Throne Terran is Italian. I'm not sure. They don't make
Vadrin
a.
is very posh. Yeah, you are right, actually. When
I'm
they
not
speak.
sure. I'm not sure what each language is because he's never made a mention of it, and I don't think I've read up on enough fan fiction to understand which is which. But yeah, it's cool that they have multiple languages and they're like fluent in multiple languages, and I think he's given a lot of detail to language in particular in the book and how he keeps switching
Yeah.
from this to this to this, and he's like, okay, so now they're switching to this and now they're switching to this because it can't just be one flow of languages because not everyone's from the same place.
True.
Anyway, so
The sisters, you were saying.
yeah, the Beranger sisters, right? So that was a cool part, and especially like the part where in the pub where they all get massacred. I thought that was like really sad, and I'm pretty sure at that moment Locke was just like, "What is happening?"
Wait, you're talking about the fucking shark coming out of the fucking water eating kappa? Is
Yeah,
that-
the fucking
Dude,
red wedding
that-
scene. Are you
Dude,
kidding me?
That was such a red wedding scene. I like fucking George R.R. Martin's words are on the book, and I was like, okay, why is I thought because of the writing style it was on the book. Then I got to that part and I was like, oh,
That's why it's on the book.
oh, someone liked something in the book.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people just dying, and I was like, oh my goodness.
I do feel like I felt honestly, but one more thing I think you forgot to mention, or you might have just gone through, is the fact that Jean, when when the sisters go after Jean, right, or when they're behind him, right,
Right.
they come at him thinking they know who he is, and then he takes off his thing and he gets his fucking sisters out.
The Deadly
and,
Sisters, yeah.
and they're just like, oh shit, it's Jean. And they're actually like, okay, this is gonna be a fucking fight. And how it goes about and how he walks away from it is honestly, it's like again, it was very
It
well
was like
done.
it was like poetry, dude, to watch him
Yes.
fight or to read him fight. It was just such poetry.
And coming back to
because
the other thing was poetry as well, is the shark teeth thing. and how the kappa dies. It's again, what is that? Foreshadowing. If that's
You're
the word
talking
I would use.
you're talking about Kappa Barsavi, right?
Yes, Barsavi and how he dies, but how he ran his
Yeah.
business throughout, where he put that tooth into someone's mouth and he'd be like, fucking drink or
And
something.
at the end, he gets fed to sharks. Yeah.
Exactly. That was nice. That was a good touch. I like that. Yeah,
That
you were
was
saying
a
though.
good touch.
You
That
were
was a
saying.
good touch. That was a good touch. I don't know. I really enjoyed the first half of the book was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They never mentioned Sabitha. I mean, I think they mentioned Sabitha initially.
Mm-hmm.
She is more of the highlight of
Third book, is it?
the third book. Yeah, third book is completely Sabitha.
Ah, that's
Because
good.
they meet Sabitha in the third book, right?
I
And
mean, yeah, yeah.
she is a person who I would say is an equal, or I would say slightly above Locke Lamora.
In terms of what exactly?
In terms of wit, in terms
Oh.
of wile, in terms of cunningness. Oh my God, she. And the worst part is, like, I'm
She's
sure Locke
insane.
would be equally. No, no, she's not insane.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure Locke would be equally as smart as her if he wasn't like
In jail.
carrying a hard boner for her like 24/7, 365 days a year, right?
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that relationship between Sherlock Holmes and Irene Adler in the movie, right? Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr.
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
this guy just he's smarter than Irene. Like he knows he shouldn't get fucked by Irene,
But
but
because
then
of her, yeah,
yeah,
how,
he also has a hard on for Irene like the full movie. So he's just like constantly getting fooled by her non-stop, right? So it's a very similar relationship in the third book,
yeah, I see that.
and
I see that.
yeah, so it's fun. You should read it. But
Me
yeah,
too.
so we go back to the gang. You have Carlo and Galdo, who I think very very well done,
Yeah.
very well done, and like they are highlighted upon again in the third book. In the
Oh.
first book, it's just a little bit. You see the old scheme where they went like dragging the body because they were supposed to like get the body back home,
Yeah.
and then they got the candles and all that, and the whole crying, and how Calvo and Galdo helped, and then how Calvo and Galdo where these guys just constantly go and show off about their prowess in the Gilded Lilies brothel, and they're all like, "Yeah, dude, we're like damn like hot and shit. You don't know," and stuff.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. The Calvin
Yeah,
and Galdo were a wonderful treat. So was the kid. I was really expecting a
Bug,
lot.
right?
Bug
Bug,
was,
bug, bug.
Bug was awesome. I feel like
Bug was good.
Yeah, even that end of his life as well. It was like, don't do it, kid. But also, it was like, shit, you're gonna do it, and I respect you for doing
The
it.
kid was pissed, man. Like
Yeah,
he was like,
you don't
he
fuck
was like,
with the gentleman bastards, dude.
yeah, dude. It was very much Peaky Blinder moment at that point in time.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
He was just like, I don't give a shit at this point, and I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you.
Fuck it.
Oh man, that was a good moment. A very
Also,
very sad.
Uh,
Yeah,
I do understand that that is there, but I have to also mention this motherfucker. This motherfucker punched the spider in the face.
I was waiting to talk to you about that. I was waiting to
Please,
talk to you
go
about
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
So like, you see at the end of the book, obviously spoiler alert, where the spider is revealed to be this Duchess or
Yes.
whatever her name is, Countess, Duchess, something,
Duchess. I
right?
think she's Duchess. I'm not really sure, but yeah, yeah.
She's one of the two, right?
Mhm.
Where this old ass lady, probably like around 80, 85
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
very old, and she's just like this very smart, very sophisticated, very witty, sharp tongued old lady
Yeah.
who is thought to be a center of influence among the nobility of Kamor.
Yeah.
But we don't know until a little later that she's actually the spider who's head of intelligence. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's amazing when she finds out who Locke is, and then like Locke is captured
Mhm.
by her at the party organized by the Duke Nicovante on like I
He
think it's in
invites
New
him
York.
in, and I
Yeah,
love the confidence he walks in with, and he's like, "This is a challenge for me, dude." When he says that, I was so excited. I'm so sorry for jumping in there.
Yeah, no worries.
But when he
no worries.
walks in, he's like, okay, let's go. This is a challenge. Let's go, Crooked Warden. Let's see how it goes. I was like, oh, this is going to be exciting, dude. Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and then they're all there. I mean, Don and Donya Salvara, and then their guard, and they're all like, you done fucked up, Locke. You
Yeah.
done fucked up, right? And then she's there, and she's
Oh,
standing.
by the way, her name is Angia Vesta Vorchenza. There we go. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Vorchenza. Yeah, Vorchenza.
Yes, yeah.
So Duchess Vorchenza, and then she's just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna talk to Locke by himself and stuff. So because I'm like the spider, and I'm like the all-powerful person in Kamor. Because throughout the book, they're all like, the spider is not to be messed with,
Yeah.
because the spider is only as powerful and as dangerous as Duke Nicovante himself, right? So then like they leave him alone, and then this lady does not even bother to tie Locke up. Okay?
Bro, she just stabs him with a needle, dude. Which is very
Yeah.
weirdly like insecty. But even
Yeah,
though
no.
spiders
She
aren't
stabs him.
insects, but still.
No. I like how like she stabs him, and then she's like holding the vial of like the antidote. Like, see, look at this. If you don't confess, and if you don't do, I'm not going to give you this antidote. And he's not tied up. There's nothing is happening to him. And at this point, Locke doesn't think. He's just like, this bitch, this old bitch.
How
like,
cocky
what?
can you get?
He stands up and straight up punches her too. Nobody expected that.
What?
This lady probably hasn't been touched rudely by a man in her life,
Yes,
right? Because
yes.
she is
With
the
the
height
respect
of
she's dealt
nobility.
with, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like anywhere she goes, people bows for her, and she's not used to talking to like a peasant, like especially a thief or a criminal.
Yes.
Oh, with like, and she's not scared because no one's ever done anything to her.
Yeah.
This guy straight up's like, you have to be kidding, and he just punches her on the face, dude.
I'm shocked she doesn't die, bro. Honestly. Maybe it was a
Yeah,
light punch. I'm guessing, but yeah.
No. I mean, you obviously read the book, so you know she's not dead.
Yeah.
But then he smacks. Locke is not trying to be gentle at this point because he's poisoned and he's pissed. So he punches her like hardcore. He's on the face, and she's just like, oh shit, and she just falls, right? And
Takes
he just
the
like
antidote out of her hand, like thanks.
He's like, okay, what was the point of the entire thing, right?
Escapes in the most awesome, like fucking Pirates of the Caribbean way possible.
Yeah, he jumps down this thing, and then the worst part was, oh shit, and then he comes back to this. He
All
comes
the
back
way
to the
back, yeah.
tower, and he's like, ah shit, here we go again, and then he comes back, and then she's sitting there with like a broken nose,
And she
she's
gets
like,
punched, right? By her son character, like her stepson or whatever, or the boy she took in. Like he gets pissed off.
yeah, the deputy. She gets punched by the deputy and stuff, and he's like, I'm just trying to save you, man. I don't care at this point. And even Donya Salvara slaps him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's not even like go over the whole. Oh, all the gold is hidden over there. You guys go search for it.
And then they're just scooping through shit, literal shit, searching for the gold, and then it's revealed the entire thing was sunk with Kappa Raza's ship, and that was the most beautiful thing.
Yes.
And then at the end,
what is it? Ritual? What's the word for it? Like
it's called a death offering.
Yeah, it's a death offering. It's a death offering. That was go on.
No, the best part was when the Duchess or the spider she thinks and she's like, oh shit, and then she's all like, you know what? Of course, he was telling me all along that he had to pay off his debts, and that's how these people do it. They give death offerings, right?
Yes.
And when we realize that he's given almost the equivalent wealth of Kamor as a death offering to Carlo, Galdo, and Puck, and that was the most beautiful tribute ever.
Absolutely.
Man. I mean,
absolutely.
That was a wonderful ending to the first book
Yes.
when he just does that.
I
just
cannot
amazing.
agree more. That's totally fuck. Yes.
Totally.
That was insane. Of course. Wait, anything else are we missing? I feel like I needed that. Oh, dude, of course, the banker, the fucking guy who runs the bank.
Yes,
I
that
love
guy.
how this
That guy.
motherfucker Locke, right? I love how he had nothing. He had literally nothing. And he went from one place to the other. And then finally he was like, these guys aren't falling for it. I should probably fucking attack, like, try to steal from the guy who runs the banks, and he fucking does it. He
It's the
wears his
balls,
clothes.
right? It's the balls that are really, really appreciable about like Locke, because he doesn't try to run small plots here and there and
Yeah.
try to like survive off the easy ones. It's like, let's take the most difficult plot.
Yeah,
If it
yeah.
goes bad, I die. Big deal.
Fuck it.
Right?
Fuck it. I'm alone. It's okay. If Gene's there, I can't do it. But like when I'm alone, I'm gonna try fucking anything. But that's the thing, right? And we get to see that whole that heist routine, that whole the rich remember thing
Yeah.
again at the when he goes to that meeting. I mean, when he goes to goes with the Duke and his
Hmm.
Donna
Hmm.
to the place, and the bank guy sees him there. I can't remember his name, but he sees him there, and he comes up to him and he's like, "Oh," and he understands what has happened. He understands like what went through, and then just like the rich remember and the rich can't don't say anything about it because they're too what's the word again? They're too ashamed of it. He just walks away. That was a nice tiny thing. I liked that as well. I have to say, that was a good part too. Yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't say anything, because you can't just say that and like make yourself look like a fool in
Fucking
front of
idiot.
the Duke's company, right? And
Yes.
just like, and he's just like, okay, cool. You can go and shoot. You
Yeah.
can go and shoot.
Yeah, it was good seeing you, whatever. I think I've seen you before, but yeah, it was fine. That was good. That was a good
That
thing,
was
I have
good.
to say.
I think though we were missing on a big part of the entire book, which wouldn't have which would have like
Yeah.
not been possible, which was the role that the Falconer played.
The Bonds Magi. Yes.
The Bonds Mage, dude.
Oof.
The Bonds Magi was like,
We do need to talk
woof.
about that. We do definitely need to talk about him.
I mean, see,
My
because the
favorite.
Bonds Magi is the only element in the story that shows that there is a concept of magic existent in the series.
Yes.
It's not just a medieval fantasy series. It's a medieval fantasy series with some sort of supernatural element,
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
magic.
Hmm.
Because anything that can be explained is science.
Yeah.
Anything that cannot be explained is magic.
I think anything
And
that can be isn't alchemy or something. Science and alchemy, I guess. But yeah.
yeah, science and alchemy in our case, right? Alchemy is very much anybody can do alchemy in this series, because it's just like a course that you learn,
Yeah.
and it's more like science mixed with like science and
Absolutely.
different kind of science.
You're right. You're right.
But what the Bonds Magi does is complete magic, because
And
they're
it's
called
coveted
mages,
as
right?
well, so you can't even like easily get in. You have to like properly. Are they? I don't understand this. Are they born magi's, or do they learn to use magic? What's the thing there? Do you know
So
that?
that is explained in the third book, and I
Oh.
think I let you get to that on your
All right.
own.
All right. All right.
But how what I can say is that you're sort of born with it. Not everyone is a Bonds Magi from Carthane,
I see.
and even the children of Bonds Magi sometimes aren't Bonds Magi.
So I'm
So
guessing there's a certain. I'm not asking you to tell me, but I'm guessing. Is there a certain amount of like a disdain towards them, or does Scott Lynch go into that at all?
yes, the whole
Oh.
book, the whole third book revolves around that. I can give you a gist of it because it's
See?
something you can read off the cover
The
of the
cover is it?
book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what it is that think of the Bonds Magi as this order
Yeah.
in Cartane that is separate from the people of Cartane.
Yeah.
It's like an untouchable sort of university, for example, where you have this reputed group of people called the Bonds Magi,
Yeah.
who are protectors of the realm, and they
Protectors of the realm, those bastards. Yes, go. Sorry.
yeah, they are. I mean, they are the protectors of Cartane. They would
Yeah.
do a lot of shit, but then they protect Cartane as well, because Cartane does not have a standing army, right?
Yeah.
So it only has the Bonds Magi to protect them, and the Bonds Magi have the people of Cartane to protect, and they get services from them and whatever. So it's a very symbiotic relationship at this point.
Yes.
And you'd assume that these people would be the ruling class of Cartane, right?
Oh.
But they're not. They're just like a body.
No.
Think of a body of powerful people who don't get involved in the domestic affairs of Cartane, but they're just there
I see.
as the powerful force of Cartane, so that no one will fuck with Cartane.
Okay.
So that's who the Bonds Magi are, and they're very respected by the people of Cartane.
All right. So
Right,
we
but-
are. I have to just say we're at the last 5 minutes of our podcast. We're
Okay.
almost 1 hour done. So go on, finish up with what you need to do, and we'll end the podcast. Yeah.
Right. So going back to the Falconer,
Yeah.
I would say that it was a really an important part, because you have the Falconer doing a lot in book one, and he's not a very nice person,
Oh,
right?
and he
He's not
gets
a
what
nice
he deserves
person.
too, as well.
Yeah, oh, he gets it. He gets it because he didn't have to be the way that he was, even though he was contracted to do it.
Exactly.
He could have still, he didn't have to be such a huge dick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could have done
And
his
like,
job and let it go, right? But he had to
yeah,
be like such a fucking dick. Yes, exactly.
he had to be a huge dick about it, which shows who the Falconer is. And then, like, in the second book, you have a bunch of people who, the whole scene in the marketplace where they come and they threaten Locke and Jean, right?
Yeah.
So those were done by the Falconer's friends.
Oh.
And yeah, which we learn in the third book.
Was
Like
this
the
the
Falconer.
boat issue?
Was this the what?
Where they're walking beside the boats and this lady jumps out who's like a leg perform. What is it?
Yes.
That martial arts with legs, right?
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Not the time they're trying to be assassinated. The
Oh.
time when this girl tries to offer an apple and then suddenly everyone gets possessed, right? Remember that scene?
In the second book?
In the second book, yeah. In the second book, they're walking. I think it starts in the beginning of the book only. They're walking down the marketplace, and then this girl is offering fruits and stuff, and then suddenly she gets possessed, and the whole thing happens. I think you've probably forgotten about it.
Wait,
Yeah. Anyway.
I do remember, but I don't think their lives were at stake. Was it?
I think their lives were at stake. I think Jean's life was at stake at that point,
I see.
but not Locke's. But anyway, so there you have a sort of element of the Bonds Magi,
I see.
and in the third book, you're introduced to a Bonds Magi who ends up being very close, but at the same time an enemy of the Falconer.
Huh.
So it's nice that, and we get an element that the Bonds Magi aren't actually the most powerful, features of the book, although they do sound like it.
And I'm guessing that's where, I'm sorry for to interpret, is that where the girl comes into play? Or I'm guessing you're also
No.
might come into play?
No.
Maria, whatever her name is?
Sabitha.
No, not Sabitha. I'm talking about the girl we don't know anything about that you mentioned. And you said
Merain.
that... Merain, yes, thank you. I think she might be a part of that, right? That's strong.
I think we can talk about Merain once you finish the second book, but the first, I mean, I haven't finished the third book yet, but what is implied in the third book is that, the Bonds Magi were probably like people who had to protect themselves from a stronger power that drove the Eldrin away. Because throughout the book, you have these glass monuments, these glass structures that we know nothing about, which is a complete mystery.
Very true.
And they speak about the Eldrin and the Eldrin magic, right? We knew that they were great magicians, and we know that the Bonds Magi are somewhat great magicians.
Yeah.
But there is a part in the book with the Bonds Magi, like, you know what? If at all we had to probably explain as to how we were created, it could probably be a reaction to whatever drove the Eldrin away. Because we don't know the Eldrin where they went. We don't know why the lake of Amethel glows in the dark. There are a lot of there are dead spirits in the ghost winds that you've heard, right? You're currently on that part right now. And then there are so many mysteries, there's so much of unknown magic, which is just briefly touched upon here and there, which I think will culminate in a sort of wonderful ending in the last book in the series, like how they did it with the Mistborn series. You remember the Mistborn series by Sanderson. How, like, in the beginning of the book, it's just like a sort of Ocean's 11 thing where you have like this guy who's teaching them how to use their powers and stuff, but at the end it turns out to be this huge big force that is good versus evil kind of thing. So I think the book, they're slowly introducing Bonds Magi and stuff. So the Bonds Magi have nothing to do with the third book other than the fact that they're trying to help arrange an election in their own country. But like, I'm guessing it goes on, like the fourth and the fifth and probably the sixth book would go on to reveal that there is a huge like presence in the world that is controlling, and they'll reveal where the Eldrin are and like how Locke and Jean and I'm hoping Sabitha will navigate these waters and stuff. And I'm just excited for them, to be quite honest.
Let's go. I can't wait. But at this moment, we will have to end the podcast. Any
Yes.
ending comments you'd like to make to the people that are listening or watching, or yeah?
Listening, yeah. Yeah, I would say that, this is a great idea of a podcast that we've got going on, where we sit together and we review wonderful works.
Yeah.
We're starting off with Scott Lynch, but we could like probably go to somebody else. And um, it's a good idea. It's a good initiative, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And we look forward to your feedback.
Also, if you guys live in India, please be safe and
Yes,
use
I mean,
all precautions.
if you live anywhere, be safe. To be quite honest, wear your mask,
Yes.
stay 6 feet apart from each other,
Absolutely.
sanitize. That's the word. And if you're living in India, we live here too, and our thoughts and prayers are with you. And we hope you're safe.
All right. Let's end the podcast here.
All right, good speaking, bro.
Bye bye.